Hi readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, or welcome if this is your first time, and happy anniversary to Books, Ink, and Paper. That's why we're here today. I have to say I forgot about my BookTube anniversary, and I usually do forget. But this last few months, weeks, I have seen a lot of people talking about their BookTube anniversaries, and I kept thinking, oh, you need to check. I think it was December. I think it was December. And then we all got sick, and we all had to recover, and so I just didn't get to it. So I started thinking about it the other day, and I said, let me go in and see exactly when it was and when did I take a break, and I'll tell you all about how this worked. But I have a strong, happy, flowing rhythm that I hope will continue well into my retirement and beyond as I continue this work that I really, really love to do. So let's talk about how this began. The origin story of Books, Ink, and Paper. The origin story of Books, Ink, and Paper is that this was originally supposed to be a channel about scrapbooking. I had some friends that I had met online who were big into scrapbooking, and I wanted to learn how to do this too. And I found that I loved scrapbooking almost as much as I loved books. And this didn't start terribly long ago. I met a woman through YouTube who did scrapbooking videos, and she shared layouts, and she was just amazing. Her name is Victoria Calvin. I think she's still on YouTube. I also then met someone named Sarah who had a scrapbooking channel, and I watched her videos as well as a number of other people that I really admired. Victoria started some in-person retreats for scrapbooking, which I started to attend. I met a number of really amazing women, some of whom are still my friends today and are on YouTube as content creators, or they're subscribers to my channel. So it's just a lovely experience that's happened as a result of meeting these folks in real life and then connecting with them online in various ways. We would Zoom together, still do, and haven't for a while, but still Zoom. I have to say, my scrapbooking has dried up. I haven't done a whole lot of it in a long time, but I need to get back to it because I have all these pictures of my grandkids and my family and all the things we've done, and I just need to get them documented. Books, Ink, and Paper originally was meant to be a scrapbooking channel. Victoria had given a notice one day about a video classroom experience to learn how to create a YouTube channel because a lot of the scrapbookers that were following her wanted to do that. I did too. So I signed up for the class and I took it. And part of our assignment was that we had to create some videos that we could post on YouTube, and we had to create a channel. I created my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, at that time because scrapbooks are essentially books, but also ink and paper are a big part of scrapbooking. I did, though, think now and again I could talk about books, and one of my projects was to make bookmarks. So I did a whole video to show you how I made these bookmarks. I will tell you what the demise of my scrapbooking channel really was. And that was that it was so much time and effort. I think this is a lot of time and effort. I gotta tell you, that was worse. So you would film a video of doing a layout, and it would be about an hour. And then you would have to, of course, edit it because nobody wants to watch an hour-long video of you scrapbooking. And of course, you had to make different choices. It's just the same as when we edit videos talking about books. Then you would have to speed it up to a speed that worked really well for the video. And then you would have to go back again and do a voiceover on top of that, and then post it and all of that stuff. So you can see that was a lot more work than it is for me to sit down, talk about books, show you a few of them, edit it, and then pop it onto the channel. Didn't do scrapbooking videos very long. I think they're still available. If they're not, I could make them available for a limited time. I'll for sure make sure that the bookmark one is available, but they go way, way back. They go back 9 years ago. So I realized pretty quickly on that wasn't going to be my thing. Meanwhile, my friend Sarah, whom I'd met in real life at these scrapbooking retreats and who also had a scrapbooking channel, moved into books, and she named her channel Sarah's Nightstand. And I was hooked, and I found so many people who were talking about books. I was enthralled and delighted, then decided this is what I need to do. I kept the same channel name. I've thought often about whether or not I should change it, but I still haven't. I mean, books are made up of ink and paper after all, so they're very relatable. But also, I've had it for so long and I'm just kind of used to it, and it's what people know me for. On December 28th, 2018, I posted my first bookish video. I cringe to tell you this because if you go back and look at the first few, I would probably cringe to watch them too. But I was new, I didn't know what I was doing, and I grew and evolved over time, as all of us do. And I think that first video was a haul, if I remember right. There was a haul and then there was another video, and they came out within days of each other. And then I got to where I was pretty consistent, and I tried to learn how to be a better editor and a better booktuber in general. A lot of my first videos were maybe a little bit rigid, maybe a little bit like I was very focused on the sort of the design and making sure I said the right things and showing the book in the right way. And now I've evolved just to this is really who I am in real life situation. Other than the fact that I don't curse as much as I do in real life, this is pretty much my general demeanor. I will say that there are some days that I am quieter and I am a little bit different. And if you notice those days, it's probably because I'm either not feeling well or something has happened that has been challenging. And we all have those things in our lives, right? That challenge us. And especially at this phase of my life, I have noticed that a lot of things just happen that make me sad, and I'm really grieving over the loss of people, or the fact that people are moving, or that people have had to deal with this situation or another. There's a lot of things in everyday life that make us all sad. So some days I might not be quite as perky as I am other days, but for the most part, this is generally who I am all the time. I talk with my hands a lot. I laugh a lot. I curse a lot, but I try not to curse a lot here on BookTube just because I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. But I'm pretty open and honest with you about almost everything in my life. And the things that I'm not open and honest with you about are things that aren't my stories to tell. So in 2021, I took a break. I know I didn't let you know that I was going to take a break, but I did. Unlike Rachel and Ross, I kept it to myself. And I feel bad about that. If there's one regret that I have about this channel and how I've been with this channel, that's it. That I didn't come out and say, guys, I'm overwhelmed. I have lots of work. I'm making great money. I'm happy, and I'm burned out a little bit on some things. And one of those things was having to be able to film BookTube content and make it regular and relevant, and to find the time to be able to do that. I also had a fairly new grandson. We had gone through COVID. We had just some things that happened that were, tricky for us. I just didn't have the time and the space to be able to devote to the channel at that time the way I wanted to. Should I have said I'm taking a break? Absolutely, yes. I know a lot of people do this and they don't say, and I mean, it's not uncommon. And also, I realized that if I were thinking more intentionally about your interest in my channel and the things that you were expecting from me, I would have said, hey, I got to take some time off. So I took off about a year, and about 8 months in, maybe 9, I realized I missed this very, very much. I realized that I really did enjoy making those videos, and I was still watching BookTube all the time, watching all of the content creators and more than I had been following for a long time. I love reading. I still kept reading. I just really missed the ability to talk to you about what I was reading and what I was doing. I thought about it. I thought about it long and hard. I think I even talked to Sarah and a couple other people about leaving and coming back, and should I stay or should I go kind of situation. At the end of December in 2021, I decided to come back. I'm pretty sure it's 2021. So I've been back and forth for 6 years. So my original channel started 9 years ago, but my bookish channel started 6 years ago. And this December 2025 will be 7. Since that time, I have filmed and posted 477 videos. I have grown from what was just a little over 500 when I took the break now to 2,096 subscribers, I think, the last time I looked. I was at 2,100 for a week or so, and then I lost a few, which is fine. It happens. It fluctuates. So I'm almost at 2,100, which is amazing to me. And when I came back, I will say this, Sarah and Lindsay, both who do the Bookish Thursday, and the 5-star predictions with other folks as well. They said, do you want to do a 5-star prediction round with us? And I was so delighted. I said, absolutely. So that really helped. And a lot of other booktubers who talk about me, who mention me in their comments, all of you, it really helps. It helps to bring people onto your platform. So I appreciate that, but I was never in it really for the subscribers or the money, because I'm not making millions of dollars over here. Let me just say I'm making enough to buy a few books each couple of months or so, and that makes me happy to be able to do that. But I'm going to buy books no matter what anyway, right? But I do love, love, love doing this, and I'm going to tell you why. What I love the most about BookTube is the community of people that are subscribers, that are other content creators, that are connected to me in some way. I can't say this enough, and I know I've said it before. That is all of what I want and all of what I expect, right? And I expect it because you've been so great at it, and I expect it because it's grown along the way. I didn't know that that would be my favorite part. I really thought my favorite part would be talking about books, which I do love. And not everybody loves talking about books or listening about books, but in my case, those are some of my favorite things to do. And to do it with those of you who are participants in this experience with me is just the best thing I could possibly ask for. I see you on social media as well outside of the BookTube experience, but your comments are always so wonderful and so creative and so encouraging and so supportive. And you give me ideas about books to read all the time and places to go and things to do. Have I had some challenging comments? I had one where a woman said that my bookshelves were chaotic and that this looked terrible and that I should reorganize it and that they were stacked this way and that, and she just didn't really like that. She just wanted me to fix this, and I did not respond. I didn't get upset either. To be honest, I understand, but I just don't organize my books in neat ways, I guess. I never really have. My books are organized by author and by genre. Typically, that is how I do this. And so they're not all going to match, and they're not all going to be the same height or the same size. The only other comment I got was a really great one that I took to heart, and I'm still doing now. And that was a woman messaged me and commented and said, I would like it if you would put the book that you're not physically holding in a screenshot and let it stay up for a while so that I can see it, so that when I'm listening and if I don't look up, I don't see the book, I have to go back and I have to find it, and that's hard. So could you put that up? And so it stays up while you're talking about the book. And you might have noticed I do that now every single time, because what she said to me was very, very helpful, and it made me realize that that is something that I've had to do too, is to rewind and go back. That's very tedious. This has been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I love the booktubers that I watch. I love supporting new ones. I love when they support me. I really do enjoy this community of people, and I don't think it's difficult. I don't think people argue, but again, my experience is very positive, and I'm very grateful for that. Another thing that this does for me is that only certain people in my life like to talk about books. In fact, my partner, I love her to death, but she does not like to talk about books, not with me, not with anybody. To her, reading a book and experiencing it is very private. It's very internal. She does not necessarily need to share it. The most we usually talk about a book is I will say something about how I felt about a book, or I will hear, like last night I read a line, I laughed out loud for the longest time. I read the line to her, but I didn't necessarily tell her much about this book or about what was happening. Sometimes I say, didn't you read this? Did you read this? Or she will say to me, did you read this book? Did you read that book? So we both have a love for books, and we both have an extreme love for reading, but we express it differently. So she would not be the person that would start a BookTube channel for sure. And she's not necessarily the person that will listen to the videos either. Someone asked me once if it bothers me that she doesn't watch my BookTube videos, and quite frankly, it does not. It just really isn't a thing. It's just not her thing. And so I understand that and I'm okay with that. In addition to being with all these booktubers that I get to be with all the time, I also love learning about books from all of them and all of you. Most often, when I say, let me know if you've read these books or if you've read something else that reminds you of these books or what you're reading now, those kinds of things. That's the best thing because you tell me about books, I learn about books I would have never learned about before. And that makes me very, very happy. And it also makes me buy more books than probably I have room for, but that's okay because I can always make more room. So essentially, when you asked me what made me return, it was my love of books and it was my love of this community of people. I missed you guys. I really, really did. And I'm so grateful for those of you who stuck with me and stayed there even though nothing was happening for a year, and those of you who returned when you found out that I was back. From now until my next anniversary, what do I want to do differently on my channel? I have a list. One of them I've already been doing for a little while, and that is that I really wanted to be commenting more on content creators' content. It's really a lot for us to create content and then, of course, to watch content. And then sometimes it's hard to comment on other people's content. For me, what usually makes it hard and has made it hard is this. I watch YouTube, BookTube, generally on my television sets. I don't watch it on my phone very often or even on my iPad, to be quite honest. I usually sit down, I grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and I just start scrolling through and looking at who's put a new video on, and I just watch and watch and watch and watch and watch. I don't have my phone with me often then, so I just don't take the time to stop and make a comment. But I've been trying really, really hard to change that. So some of you who are content creators have probably noticed I'm trying to make comments now on your videos. Maybe not every single one, but I'm moving myself in that direction. And it feels really good because that gives them a boost. It also lets them know what is important and relevant to me and to others. It's just good. It's forming a community with them in a different way than I already have. I also want to answer comments more often, regularly. I was in a great groove for a while. I got out of the groove. A number of things happened. I just got behind, behind, behind. By the time you get behind, it's overwhelming, especially the more subscribers you have. I do want to go back. I do want to add more comments, replies to those comments as needed. And it's just going to take me a while. But I think going forward, I'm trying to be at this moment more proactive and try to answer them more quickly. And again, to use my phone more, I can absolutely do that. And I can put comments in on the laptop too. I just need to make the time for it. The other thing I need to make the time for is to improve my channel in ways that I can. I'd like it to be more polished, and I'm also noticing that I learn gradually along the way, but I mostly learn from trial and error. And so I know that there are ways in which you can learn more about editing and about content and about algorithms and all those things, which are really not necessarily as important to me, which is probably why I haven't done it. But I also want you to have a great piece of content. I want you to feel good about it. I want it to not maybe be as choppy as some of my videos are because I've stumbled or I've, just said something that needed to be edited out, which is most of the time what's happening when that occurs. But I do want this content to be professional as it can be and to be able to really give you something that is valuable to you and that will be relevant for a long time to come, but easy to consume, easy to watch, and easy to understand. I'd like to do more sprints. I just recently learned how to host my own sprint. It's up on my channel. It was live the other day, a few days ago, and due to Kat at Kat's Novel Adventures sweetness and her ability to teach, I was able to figure it out and do it. I also should have made a cheat sheet along the way, but I'm going to figure it out again and hopefully do some sprints. I'm not going to do weekly sprints. That's not possible for me at this time, but I will try to do sprints maybe once a month. I also love to participate in sprints, and I was doing much more of that, and then I just let the holiday season and the sickness and all that sort of carry me away. I don't have to look great for sprints. Somebody else is doing. I don't even have to comment or do a whole lot for sprints somebody else is doing. But I just find that it's something I need to weave into my schedule. I would like to meet more people in real life if that's possible. I have met Brittany in real life from Rescues and Reads, and she was lovely. We had a nice time at the coffee shop and talked about similarities and things that are different about us, which is really good. I learn a lot from her about books that I probably wouldn't have picked up if it weren't for her talking about them. And we don't always read the same, but we certainly live near each other and we had a good time. So I think I would like to do that again. And then I really would like to meet Kat in real life, as she's not that far from me. I feel like we could also go to a bookstore, as Brittany and I did, and meet up, which would be so much fun. So we're going to do that one of these days. But also sometimes I travel. I'll be in San Diego later this year, I think. That's the plan anyway. And I go to DC usually once a year. I probably will go there too. I haven't made like airline bookings yet, but those are two trips that are on my radar for this year. You never know where I might turn up and have a little mini meetup perhaps. Innovative content is something that I have been thinking about lately. A lot of us as booktubers have evolved to where we do many of the same things. It's not stealing, it's certainly not plagiarism. It just is that this is kind of the structure that was set up by people who created channels way before we did. Some of us have our own unique things as well. My Throwback Thursday, I think, is pretty unique, and I do some other things now and again that, come up that are kind of unique. I've done some things with my grandkids, my daughters, that were fun, and not everybody does that with their family, but some people do. Tammy Share is a great one for bringing her parents in to talk about books with her, and I always enjoy those videos very much. I haven't done a video with Adeline for a while, and so when I did it, she was much younger, and so now I would be curious perhaps this year to see what she's reading differently. She's an accelerated reader. She was #1 in her class last year, so she's really working hard to make that happen again this year as well. But she's reading very differently now, middle grade for her, and it's really quite fun to see her get so excited when she opens the packages that we give her for birthdays, Christmas, and just because. So I would love to do maybe a read along with her at some point, because we've gotten her some great books lately that I'm curious about as well. So Addie may be the person who gets me to read more middle grade novels. I'd also like to discover what my older granddaughter is reading, because when Christmas came and we always ask what people want for Christmas, she mentioned that she would like some smutty books. I don't call them smutty, but I do call them steamy, and apparently her Aunt Megan had bought her a #1 in a series, and we didn't know it was steamy or smutty, so we bought her #2 in the series one day when she was shopping with us at Target, handed it to her. She was so excited. Her mother later said they were pretty steamy, but she's 18. She's fine. Everything will be fine. But I would like to maybe one day interview her about what she's reading and why she likes it, because she did not read as a younger person unless she was under extreme duress. So the fact that she's reading now voluntarily makes me very, very happy. And Maddox reads voluntarily too now and again, although he's much more of a person who puts together blocks and Legos. And then our baby, of course, we're all reading to her constantly. So one day, perhaps she may be on the channel talking about her favorite books as well. But I would like to have more people on the channel now and again, because it's fun not to just be me. So especially with sprints too, if I can invite somebody to partner with me like Kat and I did the other day for Mardi Gras Readathon, it's always fun. But also, I have a coach friend, whose husband is an author, and he's written some nonfiction work, and he has a book coming out very, very soon. So he and I are coordinating to try to film a video about this book that's released in March, and about his writing career, and in particular, whatever he wants us to know about himself and whatever I'm curious about as we begin to speak with each other soon. But if I'm able to do any other author interviews over the year, I'm really sort of opening myself up to that possibility too. Those are my anniversary musings and celebrations and the origin story of Books, Ink, and Paper. I hope you've enjoyed this today. If you're a BookTube content creator, please let people know in the comments below. And as a lot of people are doing lately, and I'm going to try to remember to do this regularly. If you don't have a comment, but you just want me to know that you were here and that you were listening and watching, just put a book emoji in the comments below, and I will then know that you were here. And that to me is like a thumbs up. For today, it's a book emoji. For tomorrow, it might be a ghost. Who knows? Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being with me for 6 long years. Here's to at least 6 more. And as always, happy reading. Bye.